from the lighter side of pest control. This is the Tales from the Crawl Space podcast with your hosts, Jack and Brad.
Hey, it's Jack from Tales from the Crawl Space. Halfway across the country, which I will be over there next week, we have Brett Harvey.
Hey, how's it going, Jack?
Going all right, my friend. Going all right. What you been up to?
Oh, just working. It's been a busy day today. I got to leave the office today and do some bird exclusion work. Got to use a brand new tool that I'm now having a man crush on. That's the good old flex tape. Had a situation with an opening. The opening was on a soft surface. It was one of those bumpers that you see on docks for warehouses and whatnot, and up in the upper corner on the inside of it, birds were getting in there, nesting, shitting, making babies, having all kinds of fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
So got up there with some exclusion mesh. We use a product called Excluder, and I was trying to figure out what I could cover that with. And do I want to use hardware cloth? No, because it'll tear up the vinyl and shit on that fucking bumper and stuff. And then I was sitting in front of the computer and saw an ad for the flex tape. And I thought, we're going to give that a try. Unfortunately, Home Depot had some. I went out and bought a couple rolls of it, stuck it up there. I'm going to tell you what, man, that stuff is forever.
That's awesome.
Ruined a pair of scissors cutting it because I get in there and the glue on it is just so thick, and it was a bitch to cut it. I did get it cut. And it's got a backing thing to it, kind of like like decals and whatnot. You peel that dude off, and when you do, the adhesive starts to cure. So it was curing on the scissors, and I'm like trying to pull them apart with both hands, trying to get these fuckers open, towards the end of it. And I'm reading up on this shit, and it says, once it cures, it's good for 30 years. So I only need it to last about 7 or 8 years, because then I'll be retired and won't have to fuck with fixing it. So, if I can just get a fraction of that 30 years out of it, I'm going to be a happy motherfucker.
As long as it's outside of the scope of the warranty, you're okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I give no warranties on my bird work because we know birds are fucked.
Yeah. No, I remember I was doing bat funneling. You familiar with bat funneling?
Yes, I am.
And I found out that they had the commercial grade Velcro tape. Mm-hmm. What I'd do is I'd pull the backing off the one side, and even on brick surfaces, you could gently tap with a hammer, and that shit wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And you make your funnel with the Velcro tape, you put the netting up, and then you use the other side of the Velcro tape to adhere it. Mm-hmm. Man, one guy complained when they went to take it down that he could not get the Velcro tape off the brick without ripping some of the brick off. I have a feeling that your flex tape's going to do the same fucking thing.
Oh no shit! I did a vertical netting job on a warehouse door with some of that industrial strength Velcro with the adhesive, and we got it all put up. And one of the sides, the head honcho at the warehouse come out and looked at it. He goes, "That's crooked." And I looked at it and I said, "Well, son of a bitch, it is crooked." So I had to try to pull that shit off. We finally went out and bought a heat gun and just basically melted the adhesive off of it, and then reattached it to his satisfaction. But because everything with birds and bats, it's all got to be snug. I mean, because animals will take advantage of any hole they could find, be it birds, bats, Jack Starry, any hole's game.
Yeah. I'm guilty as charged. But but no, I tell you, I think that flex tape stuff. I mean, if you can float a boat with a screen door on the bottom of it with flex tape on it, I have a feeling when they tear that building down, stuck to the air is going to be the flex tape.
Strip of flex tape. Yeah. Well, there's TV wow and there's real life wow. I'll be impressed if I go back out there in August and take a look at it and it's still hanging up there. I'll know I'm on my way then. So anyway, that was the extent of my day. And tomorrow, who knows what'll happen.
Well, as long as the bird mites don't do like silverfish and love eating the glue out of shit. So,
Christ. I don't know if the silverfish could be able to get their little shit hooks into this adhesive. I'm telling you what, Jack, it's fucking massive.
Damn.
I couldn't get over it. I'm in work gloves, and I'm trying real delicately to put on and not touch the glue. But every time I make a move to try to get it up to the where I want it, it's like, fuck, it's on my glove. So then I'm like 15 feet in the air on a ladder. I'm trying to yank this shit off, trying to not fall from the ladder. Fortunately, I have really good tread on my new work boots.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Irish Center, a division of Red Wing Industries, and so it was fun. It was fun. It's something I'd never done before. I usually deal with with bird work. I'm dealing with the netting, the spikes, and stuff like that. Never used any type of tape before, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, I tell you, working with gluey things like that is like wiping your ass with cheap toilet paper. No matter what precautions you take, you're going to get shit on your finger.
Yes, a finger will be involved in one way or another.
Yeah, toilet paper is like drunk sex. Somebody ends up with a finger in their butt.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you, tonight's topic is good luck with that. It's about getting accounts from other companies, other people, and they left you an absolute shithole that you had to work twice as hard to get back into shape.
Yeah.
And I know for goddamn sure I've had a ton of those. Brad, I know you've had a ton of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing it you've been doing it longer than I have, but we've been doing it for damn near the same amount of time.
Yeah, we've been at it for quite a while, and there's enough shit enough to go around when it comes to stuff like that. One of mine that I had to deal with a long time ago when I worked at the Big Green Tea just happened to be a bird job. It was the city's major children's hospital, and they have a courtyard in the middle of the building, and it's lovely. There's a little park for the kids and everything, and we get out there, and they have put bird netting all the way across that courtyard. And they did it in such a poor fashion. Instead of trying going to the top of it and netting it that way, which I get what they're trying to do. They don't want birds shitting all over the sick kids and parents and whatnot. So I get all that, but it's where they put it that I questioned. It was only about halfway up the side of the building. So, and it's a park. So what do you have in parks? You have trees.
Uh-huh.
So the damn big ass maple tree in the middle of this courtyard had grown over time and completely enveloped himself in that net. So not only did you have birds landing in the tree part that was sticking out of the net and still getting, shitting on the sick kids, that net was in bad shape. We had to go and take that net out. And what we had to do is we had to drive a great big ass 40-foot boom lift through the hallways of this hospital to get to that courtyard.
Holy shit.
Now, granted, we were also doing this in early spring. The ground is quite pudding-like in Indiana in early spring. More than once, we got that lift stuck. And I learned some brand new cuss words doing that. But at the end of the day, what happened was we still put it up where it was. So it was still, basically halfway up there. So it was a good time. A good time was had by all. It took us damn near a month to get all that shit cleaned up, fixed up.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, they had to untangle the netting from the tree and everything. It must have been a major pain in the ass.
Well, what you got is you've got a group of guys who are highly motivated and experienced in other forms of pest control, doing a job that they don't know a fucking thing about. And that was us at the time. So, I learned a lot of bird netting chops on that job.
Well, they say if you take a million monkeys and put them in a room with a million typewriters, they'll eventually come up with a Shakespeare play. So
yeah, they'll either come up with a Shakespeare play or the employee manual of the Big Green Tea.
That's pretty easy to type, though.
Mm-hmm.
I've read it. I'll tell you, I had an account. It's the company that takes all your plastic waste in 2-liter bottles and makes them into deck planking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to say the name of the company just in case, but that's what they do. They extrude deck planking. Mm-hmm. Well, their reclamation center, which is not part of the main production factory, it's about 4 blocks away, is this big warehouse full of old shopping bags, water bottles, 2-liter bottles, and all kinds of stuff that they'd collect from, like, how Walmart has the plastic recycling thing outside of the door, and people stick their shopping bags. Well, some people, take their shopping bags that had their half-eaten lunch in it and throw it in them damn recycling things.
Right.
Well, this warehouse had bags full of old nasty food and all kinds of stuff. I mean, styrofoam takeout trays and stuff like that, all kinds of food stuff. And this place was silly with rats. Silly. Now, when I got there, is this warehouse, I think it had like 75 truck doors. I couldn't begin to tell you the square footage, but it's massive. And I know 75 is not big compared to some of the other accounts I did, but it was a big damn place. And it was full of the piles up to the ceiling of plastic trash. And they use that and they melt it down and they mix it together with other stuff and dye and coloring and extrude decking planks and stuff. But the rats were so bad, I found only 3 interior baiters in the entire place. And they had used that old, and this is how old it was, that Blue Max bait. Remember when Blue Max came out?
I do.
And it was supposed to be moisture resistant to the point that when rodents would chew on it, it was almost like they had to chip their teeth to try to get that shit off the block.
Yeah.
And that stuff, it didn't swell when it got damp or anything, but that stuff was covered with green mold. That's how old the Blue Max bait was in these damn baiters.
Oh,
and the rats just gave up on it because there's so much more preferential. I mean, the dudes on the forklifts were trying to run down the rats with the forklifts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was like 3 baiters inside. I think there were 6 on the outside of the entire building. All the log books were the record keeping was spotty at best when someone would show up and do something, and it was a mess. Right. And so I ended up having to put, I think, 60 exterior baiters. I'd say at least 30 interior rat baiters. And so, because I'm sorry, this mouse baiters wasn't going to do it. Had to be rat baiters, and they just run right out in front of you. They had no shame whatsoever. These guys didn't do anything except show up, walk around for a little bit. Because, I mean, look, the place kind of stunk. It's the middle of summer. It's a warehouse. It's not climate controlled. And there's rotten food. It wasn't pleasant. But it was just completely mismanaged by whoever had been doing it before. I didn't even want to know. I can't remember. I think I probably blocked it out intentionally.
Sure.
But it was just a fucking travesty of a mess by the time we got there. So, yeah,
wow.
that's the kind of shit sandwich I had to eat to get that place back in shape.
Oh, brother.
Got control of it. 3 months, though. 3 months, though, I got control of it.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I mean,
no,
with the problems you had, oh, fuck. Get out of here. That's miraculous. Yeah. We've got one we've been fucking with for over almost probably over a year now. Currently at the fine establishment in which I am currently employed. We took it over from another establishment that's neither fine nor am I currently employed there. And it was a complete and total shit show. And I knew this the minute that I walked in and I could smell rodent urine.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just, a complete and total assault on the senses. It's one of those that was so bad that before I went into the office to introduce myself, I excused myself back out into my car so I could sit there and dry heave until I could kind of get my composure back and go back in. And they're just walking around like it's nothing. So they must have been used to it. Tells me the problem has been there for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
It's a grain operation. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's been around for probably over 100 years. And I walk in, the smell hits me again. I introduce myself. They see my trash bucket, and because I was told definitely take an empty bucket in there, and the things that I saw were just ridiculous, especially from a caliber of company that we acquired this business from. Mm-hmm. You would expect, with their name recognition and their worldwide renown, to provide a better service than they have, which really drove me batshit. But at the end of the day, we stuck our nose to the grindstone and unfucked all of their fuck ups, fixed the stuff that was broken, and just good old fashioned persistence. And in a quick while, they began to see some modest results, which put us in a position to where we could escalate the not the relationship. So face it, if you've got a problem with rats running around everywhere, and you tell them, we're doing everything you can, we need more you need more stations, and if you're not going and putting that extra effort out, they're not going to be very much of a buyer. But if you go in and you get some results, and you say, hey man, okay, your bait stations have outlived their useful date. The hinges are cracking and stuff. I recommend we replace the entire exterior program. The checkbook's out. They know you've given them results. They know what you're talking about.
Right.
And
right.
It just and there's nothing that makes me happier than solving a problem that's another company caused by their either laziness or apathy. And it just gives me a boner every time.
Oh, when you waltz in to show them how it's fucking done, you're damn right.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, I got to tell you,
and a little place like us, showing, it's like a David and Goliath story.
That's exactly what I was going to say, David and Goliath. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, there's one instance where the industry left companies with a shit sandwich. Mm-hmm. I won't get into copacetic on this story, but that should tell you all you need to know about that one.
Gotcha.
But Contract Block, I guess was it 10 or 12 years ago that they let the label lapse and had to reapply. Mm-hmm. And when they did that, they had to change the label because we had a couple accounts that were food production warehouses. And not only did we have rodent baiters around the structure, but the labeling allowed us to have it around the fence line because we wanted to try to keep things away from the building as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And once Bell Labs let the label lapse and had to reapply for an EPA registration number, they had to change it on the label. We had to pull all of the stations that were around the fence line.
No shit.
And it just gave us more problems. We ended up having to, put some more stations around the exterior and kind of not really bent the rules, but you have to be within 50 foot of the structure, which this fence line was easily 50 yards from the structure. But, around the dumpster area and the docks and stuff like that, we really had to, back up and find out what the hell we could do to try to make up for all that we've lost around the fence line. And that was Bell Labs giving us a shit sandwich. How do you fall asleep at the switch and not renew your label?
Contract is probably one of their better selling products at Bell Labs.
I kind of thought it was their flag. It was their flagship.
Their flagship, yeah. You'd think you'd kind of be paying the fuck attention to what's going on with that shit. But I guess I'm wrong.
Well, I tell you, there's some old school pest guys that are going, I fucking remember that. I remember when they fucked up like that. I don't know. Somebody's got some bumping bass music going next door. So if y'all hear something in the background, that's what that is. I
figured you just stepped away from your nightly rave to record the podcast.
Oh yeah. Well, it's just that I had to hold off on taking E for the podcast because I don't want to get all that horny with everybody.
Right. You don't want the DMT kicking in when we're talking about shit sandwich accounts.
No, not at all.
Yeah. You ever heard of a meatloaf? You know what a meatloaf is?
Is this a trick question?
No, it's not a trick question. It's a meatloaf is when you go take over an account from another company, primarily a commercial account. we're definitely going to be talking about some residential action here later on. But in a commercial account where you take over, you go to inspect the existing, multi-catch traps, and you open it up, and there's so many fucking dead mice in it that they're all packed together. And you take it, you knock it against the floor, and they all come out in a block. That's a meatloaf.
Oh yeah. I didn't know what to call it except for fucking nasty, but but no, I know exactly what you're talking about. I do.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I got served a mess of meatloaf and one of the accounts in East Central Indianapolis. It's a metal plating facility. When we took it over, I had probably about 8 or 9 helpings of meatloaf back in their chemical room, and yeah, it was delicious. I mean, dude, it was August. They were so fucking dry, Jack, and it's like it was just a mess of hair, bone, and despair and anguish. And I did not have a bag or a bucket to my name, so I'm just sitting there walking in, just nice as you could be, just carrying these 2 bricks of compressed rodent, heading to the nearest dumpster. And yeah, it was fun. And you see that a lot. The salesmen get out there and they just, okay, we're going to put one here, we're going to put one here. No map is filled out. The technicians have no idea where the fuck they are. I don't even know if I could blame, give 100% of the blame to the technician, other than the fact that if you're in an account, you need to be looking everywhere. This is one of those things that if you're going to put that damn many things out, draw a fucking map.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna mention that when it comes to logbooks here shortly. But I gotta tell you, no matter how dry and desiccated they were, I bet you they still managed to be fragrant.
They were aromatic, but again, this is a metal plating facility, so there were so many other smells going on in that place that were nauseating and acrid, and an assault to the nose that the meatloaf wasn't all that bad.
Yeah, well, I was kind of thinking maybe the smell of the slag from probably welding and stuff probably helped with the smell, but I can imagine how it could make it worse.
Oh yeah, the sediment that in those big vats that because there's all these chemicals and stuff, they dip the metal in, run some electrical charge through them, and they come out looking all pretty and shit.
Oh yeah, zinc plating and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, that stuff. Oh, that stuff is rank when they go shoveling it out of the vats. Grease traps.
Speaking of nasty rodent issues, I got from one of the other pages on FB, a Melissa Arnold, entomologist and the owner of her own company, sent me an email with a PDF file attached with this story to it. I think it's great, and I tell you, this is a massive turnaround. She goes, was referred to a worldwide grain elevator client by a friend. She was their accounts payable person. She told the location manager that I, Melissa, could do a better job with rodent control than that, quote, lazy national company, unquote. After some meetings with a couple of managers, I had a signed agreement to begin service. During setup, the old equipment was removed and 179 pieces of new rodent equipment were installed. The former company had only 24 multi-catch traps and 17 rodent bait stations. The equipment I removed was in serious disrepair and hadn't been cleaned in forever. Lids were broken, dead mice found in all multi-catch nesting materials were common in rodent bait stations, and one, yes, only one, rodent bait station actually had bait. Their technician continually reported that no rodents were caught, and rodenticide was only changed due to the cycle. On my first service in August 2021, I caught 58 mice and replaced 242 pieces of rodent bait. This facility gets serviced once a month, and today I caught 37 mice and replaced 4 pieces of rodenticide. My quality of work, communication skills, and timeliness of service led me to signing a total of 14 locations for the same client with 2 more in negotiations.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's kicking ass and taking names. That's what
Melissa,
that is.
Melissa, way to go.
Fuck yeah, that was awesome. Melissa Arnold, thank you very much for that story. That was awesome.
Yeah, I love a good success story like that. And when you can go in and show people how it's done, you're really doing something.
Oh,
you're making us look better as an industry. I mean, there's a lot of misconceptions about pest control people. Some of them are actually true, as you can see, and Pest Control Humor Depot.
Oh yeah,
but when it gets down to the nitty gritty, all right, here comes the train.
Well, they're getting started without me since I haven't taken the E yet. They're getting started without me. The train's going in the other room.
Nice. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, I was talking about us. But, yeah, it's when it gets down to the nitty gritty, man, we got to do it. So, and sounds like Melissa's getting it done. So, hats off.
Hell yeah. And from what I understand from her email signature, I did not get permission to say the name of her company, although if she likes to, I'll be happy to mention it next show. But she is the owner of the company, so she's getting it done on both sides of the desk.
The one thing I really love is to hear stories from our owners. They're not afraid to tell it like it is, and they don't have to be afraid because they don't have somebody that's, I heard you said such and such on the podcast. We need to talk. Come in here, sign here. So
right.
And you know what, Jack? Rudy Chavez, who is the owner of Outlook Pest in Canby, Oregon, is no exception.
Nice.
Yes, you're some of this stuff is going to hit you right in the feels, Jack, because you've been there and done that. So, yeah. Rudy says there is the local business that is pretty big here in the area. They've been in business for 10 years or so. They usually go to Utah and bring down a bunch of high school graduates to work up here for the summer. I'm a little bit country, and I'm a little bit rock and roll.
The big toilet bowl white teeth. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. D&M. Okay, some of them are for routes and others for door-to-door. Now, they're one of those companies that only use one product for everything. That's initials, callbacks, follow-ups, one product and done.
By Feathering.
After 2 years with a big O, I worked for that business for about 3 weeks because it sounded like a good deal. And in those 3 weeks, I got written up 4 times. One, because the owner was telling these kids to spray 10 to 20 feet out on concrete driveways.
What?
And I know. And I called them out on it that we can't be doing that, especially knowing it was going to rain. Got written up again because they were spraying Phantom and Psychic out of spray bottles on top of actual countertops, wiping it down with a sponge, and telling the customer that it was safe. Third time was because they wanted me to spray around a fish pond with a $1,000 koi fish because these products were safe, and I refused, so I used gel bait.
Oh, my fucking God.
Rudy. You poor bastard.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So the fourth one, I guess a man can only take so much because the fourth one was finding my boiling point. A customer had called in complaining about wasps landing on top of her tile roof. I went out there as a callback, knocked down a few nests that were missed, and treated underneath the eaves. Well, the customer called mad because I didn't spray her whole roof. The company wanted me to go back and treat the whole top of the tile roof, so I was going to just drop off the truck and go home.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I remembered about this company was their so-called crawl space spider control. They had a big plunger that they called the bazooka, and they would fill it up with Delta dust, go to every event and just pump the stuff out into the crawl space.
A fucking court duster.
Yeah. Now, here I am, 9+ years after, and every now and then I will get a home. As soon as I get into the crawl space, I'll see all this white shit everywhere, and I'm always asking if they had that company, and they will tell me, yes, that was their spider control. For whatever reason, that company set the expectation that any time they had a spider inside the crawl space would have to get dusted.
Just turn the whole crawl space into a biohazard. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. He goes, I've gotten a few of these customers over the year, and it's always a re-education and trying to get them to adjust to real pest control and not just dumping a bunch of product everywhere and calling it good.
Damn right.
Yeah, fucking A. It's unfortunate that there's companies like this out there around for years doing these stupid things and getting away with it. But that's one of my stories of gaining customers from this company that's always difficult to deal with because they have these crazy expectations that everything's sprayed or full-blown dusted.
Rudy, don't let the Donnie and Marie keep you down.
That's right.
That just it did hit me in the feels. I got instantly angry there for a second.
Oh, I knew you would.
Fucking God!
I knew I was flipping a switch the minute I started reading this, Jack.
Oh my God! That's so fucking annoying.
That is no shit.
And you go to show them the label, and they want to get pissed off at you. And the reason they didn't like me is because I was a fucking branch manager. They tell the religious cult start techs that they hired to go do this stuff, and I'm like, no, you're not doing that.
Yep.
And I'd actually have to go out to these neighborhoods where they were working and go, oh, no, here's how you do it. And then they'd run back and tell the owners, and the owners would get pissed off at me. And I wouldn't say anything. I'd just hand them a copy of the label, and I'd say, get back to me when you finish reading this. And they kind of were all pissed off at me. Well, we have to do some things. No, we have to do what the label says to do. There's other ways to get this done, but I am not having my license, which is the only license on the wall in here, in question because you're telling people to hose entire fucking houses from the soffit to the foundation with bifenthrin.
Yep. That's insane.
Not happening.
Nope. And, we do a lot of damage control out there when companies like that get out there in the streets and start hawking their wares. Nothing gives me more pleasure than to have one of them knock on my door.
Oh, that's happened.
Yes. I live so close to my office that I do not drive my company car home. And the reason being is because I already have a fleet here, and I've got two of my own home whips in the driveway. Wife parks in the garage. My daughter, who's living with us temporarily, is parked out on the curb. We got enough shit out here. It'll look like a fucking car dealership already. So I only live a mile from the office. I just drive my shit home. I'm not worried about gas or anything like that because it's a fucking mile. And so they don't see me. They don't. My company vehicle's not in the driveway. They come knocking on my door, wanting to sell me pest control. And I ask them if they have a card. If they happen to give me a card, I know Donnie and Marie's don't always have cards, but because they're wanting to close right there before they even get back on their little hoverboard and drive right off. But if they've got one, I'll ask for one. They'll give it to me, and I'll give them mine, and then say I think I'm good. And there's been a couple of times when I worked for the Big Green Tea and Economics Labrador Retriever, where my fucking vehicle was actually in the driveway, and still they would come up and knock on my door asking me if I wanted pest control. Now I try not to speak ill of people that are mentally challenged, but good Lord, Jack, sometimes you just got
well, look, for being kids on mission who are used to going to, houses where it looks like they're probably anally sacrificing virgins to try to tell them about the love and welcomingness that is our Lord and Savior. They have no shame whatsoever. None.
Yeah. Right.
And what I would always do is I would start out playing the naive homeowner. And as they started telling me all the things they would do, I would start questioning them about the chemicals they use and what the label stated and the rates of application and things like that. And by the time the conversation was over, I was basically giving them a dissertation on pest control. And I said, "Oh, by the way, yeah, I'm the branch manager for blah 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 blah, and I've been doing it 26 years. But thanks for your time."
You certainly give him a lot more time than I do, Jack, because usually I'm sitting there. I've got other things to do. I try to get him out of there as quick as possible.
It's less doors they're going to knock on that night. So if I cut their sales numbers down by even a small percentage, I'm happy.
That's a noble task.
That's doing the Lord's work. What that is.
That is, yeah.
I got to tell you, I really like that story from Rudy, and one of our cheese bags. Is a tater sent me a story as well. And he says, "Whoa, Nelly, do I have a story for you guys' newest episode talking about
Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly, about taking clients from competitors. Scene set. I was just finishing up my day when I got a panicked triple call from this gal. I reached back out to her when I got into cell service. She was in tears, saying that they cannot seem to get rid of a domestic beetle problem in their home. I head out there that day on my way home around 7 p.m. to see what I can do. It's a lower income household. The prior company charged them $3,000 to rip out the entire ceiling of their basement to find the cause of her domestic beetle infestation. Didn't locate it, got payment, and ghosted her to come out and fix her ceiling. I get there and notice the beetle infestation wasn't coming from her ceiling, but her drains, carpet, furniture, and closet under the staircase that had old cat food, cat litter, and poop smeared into it. I proceeded to spend the next 3 hours there cleaning her entire basement, top to bottom. Treated where I needed to, and because of her being absolutely slaughtered by the prior company, I refused to take any money. I was already off the clock. She called me a week later, crying again, said she hadn't seen a beetle since. Since then, she's referred 12 clients to me and finally just got back enough money to start me on a regular service.
Ooh, yeah. Tater.
That's doing it right. That's fucking awesome, Tater. That's the good shit right there.
Yeah, you are officially my favorite tuber now, buddy.
That's good karma. Any way you look at it, that's great. That's great karma.
Is. Yeah, and just another word about Tater. This guy is a massive contributor of funny shit to our group, and he's just awesome, and I'm really glad he shot one up to you, Jack.
And he is a recent new owner of a Tales from the Crawl Space sticker and patch, by the way.
There you go. Very good. All right.
Enjoy it in good health.
Yes, indeed. So I'll tell you what, Jack, the residential stuff, yeah, it's incredible, the shit that you hear from customers, from what they had before. It's really something. And I just yeah. What's up? I had a prior company that their idea of roach control was, those little wood grain looking boxy roach pheromone traps that you put out as monitors. Mm-hmm. That was their answer to roach control. There was no spray, no bait, no IGR. It was just a shit ton of these little wood grain cardboard pheromone roach glue traps, and they were everywhere. I think I pulled about 75 of them out of this one house, under the couch, under the tables, in the middle of the floor, in every single cabinet. And that was what they did to take care of the roach problem. And these people had roaches for days. And that's this was a company that did that?
Yeah, it was a company that did this. The guy was
shit.
Because you remember you'd get them in a box, like a 1 foot high, but like a 2 foot wide box, 2 foot deep, and they were in a plastic bag. And I guess there was 100 of them or 104, a gross of them in a case. And this guy must have walked in with half a box and just stuck them everywhere.
Jesus.
And that was their idea for controlling roaches. I mean, I'm sorry. Glue board, and we talked about this a long time ago. Glue boards have their place, and with IPM, they do have their place, and they are very useful for determining hot spots and activity and stuff.
Yeah, they're great for roaches to dine themselves out.
Yes, but you need to do a bit more than that. It's like taking a dry cloth on a dirty car and scrubbing furiously to clean the car off, only to fuck up the paint job.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not accomplishing anything. You need a little spray in there to get a little wet going.
Yeah, it's like trying to unclog a toilet by throwing more turds in it.
Well, I tell you, I've had some explosive diarrhea, which has definitely cleaned out the pipes. I think I pooped so hard once the toilet flushed itself.
Yeah, wow. Tonight I come home from work and my wife made a big old platter of nachos for dinner, and I put some of the Taco Bell fire sauce on it. Fire sauce is the only good thing that's ever come out of a Taco Bell. But, towards the end of the broadcast here, folks, if you happen to hear something that, if you're driving along and it sounds like there's a semi truck next to you putting on his Jake brakes, it's probably my guts.
Well, I'll tell you, with the only one good thing that come out of Taco Bell makes a lot of bad things come out of us.
Mm-hmm. That's no shit. I had a fondness for their nacho fries for a little while. Our sales guy, if he'd come in at the end of the day to do paperwork and shit, every so often he'd stop by Taco Bell, pick up about 4 or 5 orders of the nacho fries, and we'd sit there and get grease all over the fucking paper. It's great. It's great.
I told Issa Tater when he sent me this, had a little conversation with him. I said I had a similar story, but I wanted to make sure his got priority because it's far better than mine. Mm-hmm. I had a lady who she had carpet beetles, and the whoever came in before me had just gone around the perimeter of their area rugs in their living room and dining room and sprayed, staining the wood floor and not accomplishing anything. And they kept having them. They kept showing up on the floors and the corners and the windowsills. And what bugged me is they were coming down inside the windowsills with the windows shut. I'm like, they're not going under the window and getting stuck between the window and the screen because these are nice sealed vinyl windows. Mm-hmm. But they do have those little air gap vents in the frame for moisture wicking and air pressure. So what this guy never bothered to do was go up into the attic where these people had like 3 or 4 of the old Karastan wool carpets rolled up. Oh, that's a nice heavy pour.
Thank you.
Who's the show brought to us by today?
It's once again, it's going to be brought to us again by Maker's Mark, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, only because the last bottle I bought was a 1.75 liter. So still hit.
Hey, shit! I need a bottle of Crown Royal. That's sometimes when I can't sleep, a good shot of Crown Royal does it for me.
Crown Royal, yeah. Do you have enough in the velvet bags to make yourself some undies?
Oh, I have the one bigger bag, and it covers my nutsack pretty well. So that's if I can get the junk stuff in there too, it's like a cock sock, but it's purple and velvety.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So I do that. Yeah. But back to the carpet beetles. These rugs have been rolled up there since they moved in 10 years prior, and they hadn't done anything with them. And they were the old, like I said, the jute-backed Karastan area rugs, so wool area rugs. And those things were just silly with carpet beetles.
Oh, shit.
And the guy never bothered to go up and check the attic. He just figured he'd piss around the carpets that were laying down, and that would be it, and walk away from it. Well, I had him haul the carpets out because they were half-eaten to shit, and treated the attic real well. Treated all the window frames and rolled up the carpets and then took them out, the ones in the living room and dining room, and inspected them out in the sunlight on the driveway, which the people had. I'd asked them. I told them I was going to be doing that. So the night before, the guy went out and hosed down the driveway, let it dry. It was the summer, so it was nice and dry, so I could lay them out face down to inspect the backing. And the damage was negligible on the carpets in the living space, but the ones that came out of the attic were damn near falling apart.
Shit.
But the guy never bothered to go up and check. It's just it's laziness, and I think that's the whole thing about getting chicken shit and making a chicken salad out of it is because it's just absolute laziness on the prior technician's part. And speaking of laziness, I said I was going to mention this earlier. When you do a commercial account, take care of your fucking logbook, because as a branch manager and a service, especially as a service manager, my branch manager would panic knowing how lazy his prior techs would be and say, oh, you have to go out to all these accounts and make sure the logbooks are correct. Well, I knew they were because I would every time I would go do, quality control checks on all my technicians on all my accounts for commercial, I'd always check the logbooks.
Without question. I can't tell you how many times I've gone out and taken a look at logbooks and see, some of the shit that's required, like certificate of insurance, pesticide, business licenses and things like that, weren't up to date. I would sit in that office, get on a phone, I would call our office. I say, I need these emailed immediately, and ask the person that I was with for an email address. I will sit there until those things come through and then get printed, get put in the logbook. That's if I don't have any copies of my own, because let's face it, I'm an old man. I forget shit. Usually I have this stuff in my car, but sometimes I don't. So in that case, I always call the office and get that taken care of immediately, because I could walk out of that establishment. The auditors could walk in right after me, and then we'd have a little bit of a problem. And, yeah. And also, guys, as far as the logbooks and stuff, the people that, you only need to keep so many months worth of, the customers need to only keep so many months worth of these, service reports. Some of them I've got back from back when, I could see the products used, Chlordane, I'm like,
Oh my God.
No. Let's I talked to the customer. I let them know we can go ahead and get these pulled out. That's something a technician should be doing all the time, and not just when the manager comes in to sniff around for issues. But yeah, logbook, and especially in restaurants and stuff like that. If you grab the logbook and you take a look at it and it's dirty, wipe it the fuck off.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, for Christ's sake, people. It's like I get in there, it's like my hands stick to it. It's like I've been messing with flex tape all day, but it's in grease form. So yeah, it wouldn't take anything. Go to the hand sink, grab a paper towel, get a little moisture on it, and wipe it down, make it look pretty. We're professional.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
I mean, we had a decent amount, but a relatively reasonable number of chemicals that we'd use. So I have one of those accordion folders that I kept multiple copies of all the labels.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would do is when the insurance would get renewed and we'd get our new certificate of insurance, it would take me about a week to go to all of our commercial accounts and replace them, because I tell you, I mean, I'm not saying the techs are lazy, because my techs were pretty damn good about things. But when they're running and gunning, sometimes you don't think that to go in and take the certificate of insurance and switch it out. You just think about go in there, get your shit done, and get out, and that's fine.
I get that. I really do. But when it's been when it's 2023 and I see the most recent certificate of insurance in there was from 2021.
Yeah.
How much hustling have you been doing?
No, that's very true. And some guys are just fucking lazy like that. But I'd take about a week's worth of time going from account to account, from route to route. I'd pull the guy's route book, look at all the commercial accounts, stock up my accordion folder with all the labels, all the and the SDS. And the insurance, and go check all the books, talk to the management, walk the account, see how things are looking, switch the paperwork out. If the binder's beat to shit, I'd replace the binder, because, it happens. If they're being fucking used for 5 years, the corners are going to bust out. So just to pretty things up, and I'd leave my business card there, because the next time the tech came by, he knew I was there.
Yeah.
So,
there you
it's
go.
Just staying on top of it. I mean, because you got to figure sometimes you're not leaving a shit sandwich for the next company. You're leaving it for the next tech who may take over that account that works with you.
So true. So true. Oh, and by the way, any managers and owners and that may be listening to the podcast, this little section of it does qualify as a service meeting. So have your technicians listen to it, sign off the piece of paper. You got a meeting under your belt.
That's right. These are your CEUs for the week. You're welcome.
Folks, we are here for you at Tales from the Crawl Space.
we give because we love.
That's right. We give because we give because we're pissed off.
That's the fucking truth. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, there are shit sandwiches from other companies. There's shit sandwiches from Harry homeowner trying to take care of his shit and then passing the buck when he couldn't do it. Like the guy that got a quart of Demon and a pound of Dryone and thought he had bed bugs in his entire house. So when I got there was Dryone puffed under the couch cushions, under the rugs, in every cabinet, everywhere. And they were complaining about still being bit. I'm sorry, you're getting that type of pesticide in your pores. You're sitting on the couch and the fucking cushions are poofing Dryone dust. That's where your skin irritation is coming from, asshat. I couldn't take the account. He was begging and pleading me to do the job. I'm like, dude, I don't even want to. I'm surprised your houseplants are living. Really,
Jack. The one that tops them all for me in my entire career. I go into a house and I'm getting ready to do a roach clean out. This is many years ago. I open up the cabinet, and in the middle of the kitchen cabinet, above the stove, there is a full bottle of Suspend SC with the cap off of it. And I asked what the fuck was going on to the customer. I said, "Where'd you get this?" She goes, I bought it at the place that sells pesticides. And I said, okay, well, What is that? Well, the guy told me to put this stuff in the cabinet. So basically, what she did was she opened the damn cap of the thing, tore the membrane off, and for those of you cheese bags that are keeping score, she did not tear it off in one piece, and set it inside that goddamn cabinet like it was going to airwick the shit all through her cabinets and kill the fucking roaches. Well, okay, first off, it didn't work, and second off, I got me a bottle of Suspend for nothing, so. On that for a minute because she still had the cap. The cap was sitting right next to it, so it was perfect. I said, "Ma'am, this isn't doing anything for you. Why don't I just take this out of your house and get this stuff done right for you?" She goes, "Sure, no problem, honey. You can take it. Just get rid of my roaches." And so, got me a free bottle of stuff and took care of her roaches. But I was like, that was I would have to say that was probably state of the art of stupidity. I can't think of anything dumber.
Well, and I tell you, and it's people like that, and there's a few websites that, and it kind of sticks on my craw, that there's one guy in the Mid-Atlantic region who owns a website, and he'll go into your local pesticide distribution warehouse and buy the 78-ounce bottles of Termidor, and turn around and sell them online without requiring a license.
Wow.
So he'll sell them to Harry Homeowner. I'm not going to say the name of the website because I don't feel like him suing me. Sure. And it's a very easily descriptive website for, taking care of it yourself. And he'd sell Termidor and all this other shit. And when I was working at this one pesticide distribution warehouse, I was looking over his website. And that guy had the ZP pellets.
Ooh.
Not the powder, but the pellets, which are just as fucking bad.
Right.
On the website to sell.
Holy shit.
And I called corporate office and told them what was going on.
Holy shit.
And they're like, you do not, you can sell him drain foam and you can sell glue boards, but you're not selling him anything else because we don't want him putting our stuff on his website and then something happening and people coming back to the people he got it from. So,
dear.
Fucking ZP pellets. I'll tell you, that thing worked fantastic. Yeah, God. I mean, they don't even make ZP anymore, do they?
I'm not sure. I believe they do.
Well, I haven't seen. I've been out of the game.
I don't know. I'm on a pest control group on Facebook. That's basically international. I see them advertising some shit on there that it's like, fuck, I didn't know they still made that. Apparently, they still do and sell it to other countries.
I think I saw that like in Saudi Arabia they have like a Dursband type thing the guy was trying to sell online. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that one guy that was selling a like I don't know, weapons grade chlorpyrifos in the Philippines to for people to kill bedbugs in their home with, in their houses with.
Oh
and
my God.
I was just like, guys, do not. Or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't Dursband. It wasn't chlorpyrifos. It was a product that I didn't recognize right off the bat, but I did research on it, and it's basically what they use to kill bugs on cotton in fields and stuff, on cotton plants and stuff like that. And it's even worse. But sure enough, man, you just step outside the confines of the good old USA, you can put whatever the fuck you want in your house, apparently.
Well, I tell you, if anybody's listening from another country and they get a hold of some diazinon, get a hold of me. Please.
I was thinking the same thing about Propoxer, Jack.
I tell you, every ant problem I ever had as a hairy homeowner, I would go to Heckinger's, which is like Menards, a decent homeowner. And I'd go to Heckinger's and get some diazinon, and I no longer had ant problems.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's awesome.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I miss that stuff so bad.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what, man. The combination of Termidor on the outside and Phantom on the inside, I've never had a problem with that shit.
Phantom Plus, man. Come on.
Phantom Plus. Give me the times.
It's one sprayer sprayed everywhere. Phantom Plus.
Right. Yeah. Good Lord.
And for those of you who are new to the show, Phantom Plus there was this one technician who, when he would do roach jobs, he'd use Phantom on the interior, but then he'd bloop a little bit of Termidor in the tank along with the Phantom, and he got bold and was bragging to somebody about. I'm like, what the fuck did you do? Where did you spray Termidor?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, no, it's Phantom Plus, man. Phantom Plus.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly Phantom. That's not how any of this works.
No, it's not how any of this works, Jack. Good God. Good.
Well,
anyway, so but basically what we're trying to say is shit sandwiches happen.
They do. And the moral of the story is take care of your goddamn account so you don't make it on Tales from the Crawl Space as the asshole who left chicken shit for someone else to try to make chicken salad out of.
Yep, you don't want to be that guy. Exactly.
No, because if we ever find out who you are, we're going to call you out just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, we're going to enjoy doing it.
We can't bring up your company name, but we can sure drag your personal name through the mud. That's for sure. Well, look, we're almost up at an hour, and I wanted to bring up Randy, because this show, I was remiss in mentioning at the beginning of the show, but Randy, I want you to know this show and every show we've done and every show we will continue to do is for you. And we're still rooting for you. We know you're going to kick the shit out of this. We know you're having a tough time right now, but that's all right. It's always darkest before the dawn, and sometimes you got to stop to get a better start.
That's right.
So you keep kicking the shit out of it until you're done showing them who's boss, and get on this fucking show and have a victory lap, Randy. Would you please?
Yep, absolutely, Randy. Yeah. We're all thinking about you. Everybody on Tales from the Crawl Space and Pest Control Humor Depot, and even our backup group now, because things are happening. We're behind you 100%. You need us. You let us know anything we can do.
Damn right. And speaking of which, Cancer Sucks and Randy Doesn't. That's the name of the GoFundMe that you can go to help him along and help take the weight off his shoulders so he doesn't have a lot of other shit to worry about while he's taking care of business. And if you want some swag in the process, if you go to tftc.wtf and go to our store, every single penny of profit, no extra money except what covers the production costs. Every single penny of profit goes to Randy's GoFundMe. You can get yourself some Pest Control Humor Depot swag, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, patches. You can get Tales from the Crawl Space hoodies, t-shirts, patches, and stickers, everything. I've got some myself. I've been rocking my Tales from the Crawl Space hoodie on a daily basis. Fucking love that thing. And I'm a big, I got to tell you, for us bigger guys out there, they're sized right, because I can stick my arms out in front of me and not see my elbows.
Oh, yep. It's like a fucking hug, man. And I'm as excited as I am about spring getting here, season kicking in and whatnot, I'm really going to miss wearing that hoodie.
Well, I still got the t-shirts. I've been rocking that shit too. But like I said, every single penny of profit goes towards Randy's GoFundMe. So,
and as soon as I get my bookie paid off, Jack, I'll be placing an order.
Well, yeah, I mean, I tried to give the hooker a T-shirt, but I only got a half-hearted hand job out of it. So I mean,
you should have picked one up in Indiana. They do it for tomatoes.
Well, that's. You get what you get, She gave me a half-hearted hand job. I gave her a half-hearted orgasm. Fair speech.
That's right.
Well, I tell you, I'm not sure what the subject is next week, but we will be doing it in the same goddamn room.
That's right, Jack. We're going to be together at last. Jack is going to be making a swing through the Hoosier State and coming to pay a visit to his best buddy, me.
Damn right, and we're gonna fly by the seat of our pants and do the show, because we'll probably be a little bit sauced at the time that we do it anyways.
More than likely, yeah. I'm going to take this fucker out and I'm going to show him the most boring time I can.
It's going to be a laugh riot. Is what it's going to be. So we don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about all kinds of shit. And so that's what's coming up next week. It'll be today's show was a day early because I'm going to see my son tomorrow. Next week's show will be a day late because I'll be driving to the center of the United States.
Jack's full of shit. Tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. He's going to be puking on green beer and not be able to find a fucking website to get on here.
Man, I told you not to say that, man. I told you not to say that. God damn it.
All right, I owe you one.
Well, look, that's it for me and Brad. Thanks, everybody, for listening. go give Randy some love, whether you post on the Depot and just give him some love that way, or you show him some love on the GoFundMe, or getting some swag. Either way, give Randy some love. We love you guys, and we will talk to you next week. So do me a favor and bug the hell off.
Bug off.
Thanks for listening to Tales from the Crawl Space podcast. You can find us on just about every single podcast outlet there is online. So be sure to subscribe, and we'll have a new episode next week. Don't forget, you can find us on Instagram at TFTC Podcast, on Twitter at Crawl Space Tales, and you can also find us on Facebook at the Pest Control Humor Depot. See you next week.